Okay, we have Miss Blake that would like to
Nothing.
address the group.
Yeah means nothing.
Oh. Thought it was yeah. No,
Oh,
it's
that's in another language.
true. Okay,
We'll get there next week, Ernie.
2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks.
Deborah, God bless her, left me a slot, and there was no way I was gonna let the slot go unfilled. So, number one, I did make a note on mine, Legislative Gazette update. Very briefly, we are beginning to push now to get copies. If anyone would like to write some nice stories, we'll take them. A couple of the departments in particular, we want to do that. We've had some good feedback, very typical for a community our size. One of the things I haven't confirmed, I'm a little bit excited. It looks like Nova is very interested in doing a full page in the Gazette, but also wants to tell their story in the town, which is a very good story, a growth story. So we're going to have a meeting about that tomorrow. So we're going to start working on that. I did speak with them briefly today. We'll have another phone conversation tomorrow afternoon. They'll kind of guide and help us through this a bit. They would like to get our stories in first of next week. I don't know if I'll have mine done, but we'll do something. So that's moving along. We've got some pretty good feedback. Kind of anxious to see how that comes out. So we will keep you in tune. Number 2 item on the agenda is to discuss the hiring of summer help for Parks and Rec. I don't know what Deborah shared. Looks like she did share a letter from Mel with a request for 3 individuals. We have a resolution from last year to take a look at as well.
That's actually a resolution from, well, that was last year, excuse me. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
So we have 2 resolutions here, that's why we have 2?
There's 3.
There would ultimately be 3. What we've asked, and that's what this is about, is that we don't just see the department's recommendations for summer seasonal help the night of the resolution. We get a chance to see them in advance, discuss it, etc. So that's what this is.
Where's the Well, nothing matches in terms of the amount that we're gonna pay them.
They've all worked different number of years, that's how she
No,
does.
the amounts, Tom, this was what we had last week in our file, okay? And we looked at those, and that's what she's asking for. What's attached is the resolution from a year ago.
Right.
25 cents an hour less each of these people is making in 2012 compared to what she's intending to pay them in 2013.
Deborah likes to also give us the history with some of these things so we can see what we did in the past. Probably there's 2 things. I mean, there are 3 fine people, I believe. But we, number 1, would have to decide if we want to support their hiring for the summer, and then number 2, if you want to support the rate that she's proposing. I didn't do the math. Paul, you're 1 for 1 with math tonight. 25 cents on these is probably a 2.5% raise.
It's a slightly over a 2.8% raise, just slightly over.
That's close. Yeah.
What did we do with part-time help in the office?
2.8. It is in line with what we've done this year. You know, especially with the lifeguards, we all know that's becoming extremely difficult to find young people that are certified and get them in and.
These aren't for lifeguards, are they?
No,
No.
These are,
no.
there will be.
But we'll be dealing with that, and this will set the pace for what
Well,
we'll do with
that's the
them.
thing.
Yeah, and I think the date for the 3rd person is probably, you know, I'm trying to look at, you know, we're early in April now and not much has turned really green, but boy, in another 10 days, things are gonna green up fast, and
Mhm.
there's gonna be a lot of fields that all of a sudden need mowing, like, all at the same time, so.
Yeah,
I think time-wise for that one, I think it's right on target. And the other,
Tough one to call, but you gotta be ready.
well, if you're not mowing by the end of April, I think,
something's wrong.
yeah. Means
I
we
mean, the
probably
buds
still
are-
have- Maybe we still have snow if we're
The
not.
buds are on the trees. So
Started.
they know more than we do.
There's a few things flying around in the air.
Yeah, I had robins in the backyard.
Yeah, so, and the other two, I think, one doesn't start until he's finished with his, I think he's a teacher, so it's, we hire him after he becomes available, and I think the other one is when they get out, when Patrick gets out of college, so it's basically, I think we'd probably hire both of them a little bit sooner, but that's when they become available for the summer, so.
And Andy runs that summer crew, which is kids that are getting out of school.
Yeah,
at
exactly,
high school.
yeah, and actually, he does a really good job keeping those kids focused and
He does.
on task, and, yeah.
So what I'm hearing is we're comfortable with the letter as written, inclusive of the 25 cents over last year.
Mhm.
Well, it does end up to be about $80 a week, I guess, when you add all each letter. For what, 4 months?
And none of them are going to be a concern with unemployment in the future.
You might wanna check number 3 on that one. I can't remember, I haven't seen the letter today, but there's one of them that's not a teacher, I think he's retired.
Yes, he is.
And I think we paid on him last year.
Thank you, Pat.
I didn't hear what Pat's point was.
Alston Reset, looks like a hire that last year we did have to contribute as the last employer to unemployment. It just raises the cost of his employment. Just want to be aware that the department needs to anticipate that if that's the case. We would bill the department.
How does that work? I mean, is he a college student or?
No, he's a retired prison guard.
So when he gets done working in the summer, he files for unemployment?
Yes.
And it's perfectly legal.
Yep.
Can you, is it illegal to have them stipulate that they won't?
I would say it probably is.
Yes.
Not being an attorney, I would say it probably is.
Oh, yeah, what would you say? Yeah. I think it's
Just
a
ask
little
the
bit.
question. That is, now that, how much does that impact
I don't have the figures right here, but
roughly?
it was probably $200 a month at least, I'd say.
How much?
$200 a month that we paid
For how many months?
He's 26 weeks, I think he gave it for us.
Plus an extension right
That's,
now.
Yeah,
that's
to extend it,
John
so.
St. Germain asked about. 700 plus.
So this would take him way out of the $10.25 an hour category, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And if you look at it, he's gonna probably get another 20 weeks in.
Well, what if we shorten up the number of weeks he's hired it? If we don't hire him for 20 weeks, that's what kicks in, that's what
Right,
kicks in,
right.
right?
Why can't you just hire him as an independent contractor?
You can if he's willing to do that.
One of the problems you have with municipal, if you hire somebody as an independent contractor, you've literally gotta pay them prevailing wages for the, so we ran into this, we were looking, at cleaner and whatever, you end up having to pay prevailing wages for, whoever, comes in and do the work.
Yeah, and I think as an independent contractor, he'd probably have to have his own mower and stuff, he wouldn't
Plus-
be able to provide him the equipment.
Plus you
he's
want him to
driving.
have insurance, liability insurance, so, which they're probably not gonna. it's
So
not
how many
gonna-
weeks you have to cut it down?
But I do think-
Lister?
Less than 20, I think.
What is it now, how many got?
I think you got 20,
5 months,
times 4
that's
weeks,
5
20
months
weeks.
of
20 weeks,
employment.
yeah.
Probably 21 weeks is about pretty close.
21 or 22, yeah.
21 and 22. What if we, maybe would be a worthwhile suggestion, cut it back a week on either end.
Hire him a week later and cut him back a week earlier, something,
Is it,
making
is
sure it's
20, the,
I think that's the magic number, yeah,
Is he, I don't know if he's working now.
I don't know. But the thing is, even if he picks up his 20, his extra couple of weeks somewhere, we'd still be responsible
I know,
for
that's
a
fine.
portion of his unemployment, and
Right.
whatever portion of his employment was done here, if it was 85%, I think we'd pay 85% of that unemployment, so.
No matter what the weeks are, you're gonna be on the hook.
Well, you're not gonna be on the hook if he doesn't get employment some other place to pick up the extra 2 or
We
3
don't
weeks
know.
he needs.
I don't think we could ask that question.
No, I'm sure not.
All you can do is guess.
It's a delicate topic.
But what,
But I'd
what,
say-
well, I'm just saying, what is the total amount we'll pay, or your estimate for unemployment benefits for this fellow?
I really don't know.
We
so
think
I
last
don't
year was
wanna
about $700.
So what if you,
For a premium.
what if you
that's
cut it,
another 2 weeks worth, 35 hours a week.
so this year, what if you cut it back? Ends up that he goes on unemployment again, and next year we hire somebody else.
I don't, I understand, I agree with your train of thought, Tom, but we won't know, neither will he know maybe. And I don't even know we can ask the question technically and base his employment on whether or not we're gonna get stuck for unemployment. I think
No,
we
we
might need
can't,
to
but I
pursue
mean,
that.
if you say, cut out, like Paul said, you have 1 week before and a week at the end.
If I did the math right, it's like 80-something cents per hour added onto his salary.
So maybe we take 80 cents per hour off toward the unemployment benefit. There's no salary schedule, there's no contract, we arbitrarily choose the amount. If you wanna work, that's fine. We've calculated 80 cents an hour, it's gonna cost us for unemployment. And it cost us last year, so we would have to recoup it. Your salary would be 80 cents an hour lower if you want the position. Then we're encumbering those funds and you're not gonna get a bill.
We
Like I
can do
said,
that,
there's-
okay,
There's no
can we?
contract, there's no,
Is this a position
guys
that's
set the
difficult to fill?
no.
The only thing you have to remember is you're asking somebody to drive around a $60,000 piece of
Yep.
machinery we bought. I mean, it's not like we're riding a $300 lawnmower in your backyard. It's a pretty expensive piece of machinery. That we've gone through the last one probably much sooner than we maybe should
Good
have.
point.
So, for $700, you're saying,
No, I'm not saying that. I'm on the fence on this, honestly.
Well, I got a problem paying him $700 more,
Yeah.
you know? Let him reduce by the 80 cents or whatever the calculation is.
Or cut, like you said, take 2 weeks, if it's 20, make sure that the amount of time that you're gonna hire him for is not gonna trigger that.
But the only thing is, Marty, he goes and gets a job for 2 weeks some other place, and then gets laid off, we're on the hook for 90% of his.
whereas if we just drop the, I mean, we know it from last year, we know what the exact amount was, we just use that.
I think Bernie's got the best suggestion then. Cut the rate.
He's being paid the same, but he gets the extra $700 the others don't get.
He gets it at the end
Gets it
in
later.
in unemployment compensation.
There's no reason he should get
Well-
700 more.
Let's put it this way, he gets far more than that, because that's what we pay to unemployment, that's not what he actually gets.
Yeah, we're only looking to recoup our losses. I mean, I'm sure it'll be argued, but if that's our decision, I just don't know what the rationale is to budget $700 more for him than the
Have we
others.
paid unemployment insurance on the
More.
other people who worked here
Yeah.
for,
We don't know
15
either.
weeks or
I mean,
20
last year
No,
could have
no,
been a
no.
unique situation.
His unemployment would be, he'd wind up getting from New York State about $200 a week unemployment, 26. Plus whatever
Yeah,
extensions
they
out
keep
there, or whatever, I
extending.
mean, it could be,
Yeah,
right now,
I know someone was
I
on
think it's a
2
10-week
years on that.
extension, I think it's 36 maybe now,
Yeah.
so
It
it's,
was 99 for a while.
yeah, so I mean, whoever is in place at that time, so, I mean, you know, having him take the 700 out of his salary, he's getting far more than that on his end, it's just we're recouping our part of what we're putting in.
We might not come back next year. Get paid for the summer and,
The other question you raised, Paul, is you're saying $60,000 mower,
yeah.
according to Mel, and this much she told me when we were looking at this last time, this guy does a good job, he can be trusted to, you know, to do what he needs to do.
I can tell you after
be there.
one season of operating at Moore, the mower is in pretty nice shape still. I mean, it's in very good shape.
Yeah, she's very happy with
He takes
the
care of
work
it
he
very well.
does.
I mean, I wouldn't look to replace him because he does a very nice job.
Then all I'd say is do what Bernie said and drop the, so we get our 700, whatever it is about, after you figure it out, and, it's taken care of.
Well, why don't we let our finance director come up with the appropriate rate of
Yeah.
pay before next Monday night?
We're
He's got
guessing
all
at
the money.
80 cents.
Yeah.
And we'll have to communicate that with him right away, in the event he may want to not accept.
I think we also need to delve into the circumstances a little bit. You could be dealing with a situation where, you know, where he was working, they went out of business, they downsized,
Mhm.
whatever. What caused him
It's
that?
highly possible.
And it may or may not be that there'll be a claim going forward, I don't know.
Was last year his first year for us? I
Yes.
don't remember.
Yes.
So we have no history.
What was his rate of pay last year?
10?
10.
That's pretty cheap for someone that's driving a $60,000 piece of equipment.
Yeah, but you wanna remember, he's drawing a full-time retirement
No, I
from
know,
the
I
State Department of, I mean, it's not like he,
No, I know, I
it's
understand.
not like he's supporting a family on $9 an hour or whatever. He's getting paid pretty handsomely by the state of New York.
And he gets unemployed.
Yeah.
So if we're reading it to 1025,
Uh,
whatever it is, you take it off of there, like 75 or whatever, you got 950, 920.
Maybe you offer him the job at that and he won't take it, I don't know.
So if he doesn't, it isn't something that takes a lot of skill, as you said.
Well, the other thing that you have in the recreation department is 2 other employees that we pay full-time, and they can alternate days driving that and hire a helper to work with the other guy as opposed to
Exactly.
hiring an expert to ride that tractor.
Yeah.
Put one of those 2 full-time employees on that every day and hire a laborer or whatever you wanna call it, a seasonal worker to work with the other person, change weeks, however they rotate that, but I think that's what they do now, is they each ride it for a week, so you're on it for a week, and then the next guy is, and the 3 of them rotate the week, so 2 out of every 3 weeks, he's actually working with one of the other 2 full-time employees. I'm pretty sure that's the way they rotate,
Would seem logical.
because it's a long day if you.
Or maybe we get Bernie to volunteer.
Weekend.
There are days I would love. I would take the 80-cent cut.
Yeah, if you have a good iPod and earphones and just put your headset on and away you go, it's not a
It'd be
bad
an
job.
increase for me.
Oh, here we go. You know, that minimum wage thing, that's the way it
I
does.
think that it's fair to, saying, based on last year,
That doesn't apply.
and he should know what
What?
these
That doesn't apply.
benefits
Thank
are
God.
this year because of it.
Yeah.
So if we drop it to 940
At
to
least for
9,
now.
whatever it comes out, it'll be fine.
Something anyway, because we do acknowledge his value, but you gotta work with us here. I will see if I can get a hold of him in the next day or 2, as soon as we can. Maybe Pat, you can ratchet down a better guesstimate of what his total number of hours, less what we perceive it to be. I'll have a conversation with, as Marty's saying too, that could be some sort of quirk that happened last year that is the last thing in his mind, and this is the only job, and we'll give a little credit for that. So I'll follow up with that one and then. let
That only
everybody know.
happens if he's got another job.
Yeah,
And he takes after he's done during the summer, he's got something he does in the winter.
Yep.
If he doesn't, he's collecting unemployment.
And going ice fishing.
God bless the North Country. Okay, so we're not going to, we're gonna be up in the air
Good job.
on number 3 for a while.
We don't crush down a $60,000 machine.
Can't do much with it.
Oh, that's true, you wouldn't, yeah, that's true.
That is
They'll
true.
let you out.
Me having a machine, yeah, you're right.
I almost made a Prius dig, but I pulled it back. Okay, that's a good catch, thank you, Pat. Lifeguard, we got a thank you note from the North Country Life Flight Free Air Medical Transport Service. We can start this down the time, you can take a look at that and just rotate it around.
Nothing.
No, Gazette.
Oh, yeah,
Gazette?
mention the Gazette. You get your article done?
Was I didn't know? I didn't know.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
The board perspective of the future of the town of Plattsburgh.
Well, it might be my perspective.
Kind of open-ended, but
I have a lot of perspectives if you want me to write something.
I'm sure you do.
Conference for Planning Department. This is, again, informational. We would pull this forward next time. If anybody has any comments, concerns, as we just witnessed a few minutes ago, the more eyes, the more minds on these things, the better it comes out in the end. Planning is they really are doing some interesting new things. They're really playing. They had some discussions at 5 o'clock today about some projects going on and how designing those projects are gonna open up new areas of the town for future development, and really doing things now that sets the stage for the future is pretty exciting. The use of the technology there is amazing what they're doing. Phil has also showed me a working map that their intern has been working on. And really beginning to define our core, our hub in that Smithfield, Route 3 area, Consumer Square, and really beginning to map it out. And you don't need the car, you know, look where you can go by foot, the services and agencies and stores. So they are doing some interesting things. And, with that said, I think as they go to various conferences and workshops, they're beginning to pick some new ideas.
Just so you know, that works out to just about $230 a person to send them down there. I mean, it's pretty cheap if you figure conferences that we wind up sending people, and you figure meals and transportation and hotel and everything else to send that
Oh,
number
yeah.
of people. And the planning board is required to have training every year, and I mean, we can't send one person to New York City
But
for the price we're sending.
they're going for
people.
one day, right?
Some are going for one day, some are going for two, and a
Right,
couple
some
are
of the
going
ones
for
are
three.
gonna,
Now, the cost for one day is $75 for registration?
Yes,
it's for, within that,
yeah,
yeah.
and then, yep, $75.
And there's no other cost, right? That's for the whole day.
Lunch.
Depends how long, if
Includes
they just a
lunch.
day.
Includes a stipend for lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch, actually lunch and dinner probably, cause
No.
$22.
Well, meals are,
Well, for the ones that are staying overnight, they'll be there for dinner, but for the,
We pay more than $22,
complete
we
street.
pay less than $22 for lunch, don't we, Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gotta be dinner, it's gotta be something.
Maybe breakfast, lunch,
Depends on if you go by per diem or
Lunch, dinner.
received.
it's a good
Yeah.
concept.
This is already billed out at $22
yeah.
for a one-day thing, so it's gotta be
New York State rate,
breakfast, lunch, or, yeah, it's
Lunch,
gotta be
dinner.
breakfast, lunch.
probably breakfast, lunch.
I might go down and just crash it.
Maybe yeah, maybe.
I'll pay the
maybe
75 registration.
Breakfast, lunch.
Continental breakfast and then lunch.
I don't need to eat.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement, that's
So,
money well
and
invested.
I noticed that a lot of them are check town car.
Yes,
How many people are riding in the car?
Those who
That's got a fair
are only
number.
going for a day aren't riding
Phil-
with those staying.
Phil is taking his own vehicle, Trevor is taking a town car, and with Trevor, riding with Trevor will be Terry Bashaw, Jeff Wagner, Bob Pearl. That's another
Nope,
vehicle,
no,
that's another vehicle.
Yeah, Bob Pearl's going the next day.
And Marty's taking the left one.
So Bob Pearl and Marty, A. Paul Scott are going, so you guys are taking a separate town vehicle for the one day, is that?
Right, I made a suggestion that there was a vehicle in the recreation department that we got to
So there's two
There's
town,
four of you, you'd fit, you could fit in any one of the
Individual?
Jeeps too. Yeah, of course we do.
two town vehicles and an individual going down?
I think so.
Yep.
That van is not user-friendly for beyond 4 adults and a notepad in the back. This, the Parks and Rec gray van, the new one, we didn't think big enough on that one.
We'll take the Jeep, take either one of the Jeep Cherokees, you can fit 4 people in those very easily.
Planning department would be out.
You'll have one, and there's still 2 more.
That's fine.
Alright, so we do have 2 vehicles to go
Yeah,
down,
one
we
for
can take
one
4 people apiece,
Take
and
Alan's.
we only have 3 one time and
Take Alan's.
2
How
another.
about Pearl?
I think so, Tom. I didn't follow
No, I
the
think
logistics of
Trevor's
it
gonna
that close. I
Okay,
figured they're gonna get
Phil's.
there and get back.
And then we'd have to take either Allen's or
Yeah.
Steve's for one day. You still need it for one day.
That's the way it is.
We gave it to him.
Public hearing for Prevost project. This one we need to spend a minute on. Deborah has drafted a resolution, and you've got it, next with a number on it. But, the grant is due, I think, May 6th for some reason. I don't know if you're more. Yeah, May 6th, the application is due. There's not a lot of time to get this thing going, and we scheduled 2 public hearings tentatively, one on the 22nd, one on the 29th. I'm not sure that that's real good planning, and there's no need to drag it out that long anyway. What I would propose is we do one sooner than the 29th. We could even do 2 that week of April 22nd. We've got to have time to get it in the paper, you need time for people to know, et cetera. But there's no reason why we couldn't have a public hearing. It may even be advantageous at 4 or 4:30. Not everybody can come in the evening. And we don't have to have everybody there for the public hearing either. I just think doing one each week doesn't have any value, add any value by any means, and we need to get this thing going.
What's the deadline on this?
The grant has got to be fully written and submitted by May the 6th.
Well, we don't have to give that much notice, do we? Isn't it just 10 days,
5 days.
5 days? So why can't we have them earlier than 22nd?
Absolutely, that's exact, well, at least earlier than the 29th. I think the 29th is not a good decision. Maybe do one like Thursday at 4 or 4:30.
I had recommended on the 29th, when that was suggested to me, that we not do it at Wallace Hill, even
Yeah,
though we're
that's
going
not-
to be at Wallace Hill at 7 o'clock.
That's not
I
a
said,
good place for that.
meet at the town hall,
Yeah.
do it at 6:30, then go over to Wallace Hill for 7 o'clock. That didn't get translated in here.
No, but that, we don't want a public hearing at the Willis Hill Rec Center. That's
No.
not appropriate.
May I ask, in April, I know that you scheduled this April 29th meeting, so we're going to meet on the 5th Monday then.
That's right.
Yes, we have Wallace Hill and Cumberland Head on the
Yeah.
29th.
So you just added an extra meeting in, so that has to go in
Right.
the paper as well.
No, the 5th Monday is, well, we can put that in. We're going to put in our regular community notice, and that has the 29th in.
Well, I know it does, but when we sent out.
And we'll put it on our
when we voted
website,
on
et
it At
cetera.
the beginning of the year, we voted on the first and
5th
third.
is option.
Second and fourth, and we didn't say adopt meeting on the 5th. We
Yeah.
didn't have any meetings on that day. Well, I was planning on taking off, but
It's okay.
I'll take another Monday as long as that we're gonna have that extra meeting.
You know, you retired people have tight schedules. We understand that, Tom. Just, you know,
Well,
you can't be there, you can't be
I
there.
gotta travel, you know?
Yeah, we'll have the, community meeting notice in prior to that has the 29th. We'll put it on our website, see if we can get a of interest sort of thing into.
So we're gonna do one on the 18th and one on the 22nd.
Well, For the purpose of discussion, I would offer that we have one at 4 o'clock on the 18th and then the other, the 22nd at 7:05.
Does that give us enough time to finish this up before the 6th?
That would be good. I had a meeting with Sue Matten today and she,
What time on the 18th?
I'm suggesting 4 o'clock.
Does it have to be
that'll
two
work.
different days, Bernie? Why couldn't you have it at 4 o'clock, the 22nd, and then get it 7:05?
We can do anything, I think, but it would probably be more appropriate to have it a couple different days of the week with the idea that different people can come at different times and different days.
Yep.
You know, I think it's better to do.
Well,
I mean, and I don't think anybody needs to feel like you need to be here for both either. I mean, we'll have Ricky here, we'll record, we'll receive any, written comments, and we've all been through public hearings before, and can probably anticipate how that will go. I don't think this is a controversial issue. So I don't think that we need for a lot of.
well, the last one we had, we didn't get any comments at all, I don't think.
I don't-
And the 22nd here,
Yes, that's a good point.
at what time?
Tentatively 7:05. Open our meeting and then go right to the public hearing,
And the one on the 18th that you're talking about,
Here-
you're looking at 4 o'clock.
4:00. Then we can move this thing and pick up a whole week of work.
The 22nd, was that,
It's a Monday.
the 22nd wasn't one of the days we were gonna have, go to one of the places, was it?
No,
That's good.
no, that would be at the beginning of a regular televised meeting, which is good also. It becomes a televised meeting.
On Thursday at 4 o'clock, if we can't come, if everybody can't come, it's all right, probably a couple of us will be there anyway. And then,
I think the 22nd is a work session.
on the 18th, and, if there's no comment, we don't have to stay too long.
Isn't it? 22nd is a
That's
session.
right.
Can I just suggest we do it on the 17th?
17th is fine by me.
Because I can't be here the 18th, but I
You
can.
could be here the 17th.
17th or the 16th, either one.
That all right with everybody, 17th?
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, it's important to have as many people here as we can.
So we'll still have it at 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
I'm fine with
There's a business after hours on Thursday, the 18th, by the way, at Legends, Comfort Inn, which is in the town. Okay, so we will amend that one to read April 17 at 4 PM at the town of Plattsburgh. We'll want to get that notice out. Ricky knows that.
So that's scrapping the April 22nd, right?
We're scrapping the one on the 29th. We want to get it done
29th.
sooner. We'll keep the 22nd, and we'll,
Yeah, we have to get, we have to
Do
get
it
this
the
thing
29th
written in, so we can get some money.
And the 22nd isn't televised, it's a work session.
22nd, I didn't even look.
Today's the 8th.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
Not that it matters.
Not a lot, no.
Okay.
If it were, that'd be nice, but it doesn't change the Koreans having too many nuclear weapons. Okay, I've made a note on any other concerns, issues, discussions on that?
So
If
we
not,
think we have a pretty good chance on that one?
we're pretty confident on that. Okay, minutes are there. I have to admit, I haven't looked at them, but I can say I'm appropriately marked absent.
That's all I looked at,
One-
we're appropriately marked
There
action.
was one time where it was moved into the wrong column.
I think we should change the last,
13,114. The absent check is under carried. Kind of.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Good.
and then, I think the last one was motion to adjourn. I think I beat Jerry.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I thought you
I
were gonna
have to
say,
defend Jerry.
I clearly, a split second before, heard Jerry's voice.
I thought you were gonna say that the time the meeting was adjourned was wrong, Tom.
I heard the expletive to be deleted come out of your mouth when he beat you to the punch.
All right, well, now you know I have to try that again sometime. I tried to do it when there wasn't very many resolutions.
It's on the agenda.
Okay, resolution 119, resolution to hold public hearings for a potential community development block grant Prevost. Ricky, if you'll read that and just substitute April 17 for the 29th, 4 PM at the town hall.
Okay. Whereas the town of Plattsburgh Town Board is determined to continue pursuing economic development initiatives that will enhance job opportunities for its citizens. Whereas the town of Plattsburgh is eligible applicant under the New York State Office of Community Renewal Community Development Block Grant Program. and is thus eligible for financial assistance. And whereas the application of said grant assistance requires the holding of 2 public hearings to consider potential projects, and the town of Plattsburgh Town Board has determined that it is desirable and in the public interest to hold 2 public hearings to obtain the views of the citizens, public agencies, and other interested parties regarding the needs of the town. Now therefore be resolved that the town of Plattsburgh, in consideration of the CDBG grant funds program, will be holding 2 public hearings, one on April the 22nd, 2013 at 7:05 PM, located at the Town Hall, 151 Banker Road, and one on April the 17th at 4:30,
4 PM.
4 PM at the Town Hall, 151 Banker Road also. And it is further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to have said public hearings notice published in the local press and publican as required by law.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoyne, discussion.
So you're just gonna rewrite that little bit?
Yeah, we'll amend the final one as read. And I hope everybody, realizes the impacts this is gonna have on the training for those new positions, and is certainly encouraging to the project, which is coming before the planning board again, I think this month. It's moving along naturally as it should. And that this is also a collaborative project with Prevost and with the chamber. As I mentioned one time before, at absolutely no expense to the town. I should also note, we continue to have closings on our micro enterprise grant. Had one of our micro business owners in today. She was getting a little nervous about when the next closeout would be, because her investment is working real well, and she had to hire the new person even faster than she thought she would. We get good feedback from the others also. I noticed while I was gone reading the paper online, Chaco Taco had their opening at their new location. He's a sharp young man, and he could really turn that into a successful enterprise, and he sees way beyond it, where, he's gonna have a chain of these things. So
The one downtown does great.
they do, I've heard
That's great.
nothing but good things about it and their products, so. That has been an absolute bear to work through. Thank you, Mr. Correll. The rules have changed more than once along the way, getting the drawdowns, meeting the requirements. It's really a task, believe me. And a little like home and a couple other things we've done, you almost need a real nice break before you ever even think about doing these things again. Without a local contact, we'd be, spinning through the nose, and all these local businesses that have really nobody here to come to. Get their questions answered, to get some help, get some feedback, so. Good economic development, and there's more coming.
Should be noted, Bernie, that the town did, not the town itself, but people within the town did support Chief Chaco on Monday, so we actually, for the first order they had online. So.
Oh, good. They take online orders.
Oh, yeah, they have pretty sophisticated websites,
Nice.
so it's really nice website.
It's good to support local businesses, and especially those that are in the town.
When is the planning?
I'm not gonna be able to answer that.
I vote, on my calendar, I vote second Tuesday, but it's
They
changed.
changed it.
Second
It's not the second
They
Tuesday
did
any
change
longer.
it, yeah, they did.
I can't remember what it is.
I think it's in the third week, but I don't remember.
Third
Third
Tuesday.
Is it Wednesday or is it
I
Tuesday?
don't remember.
Yeah,
I think
I
they
don't
kept
know,
the
I've
dates.
got it posted on the board.
Yeah, they
I'll
did it so
check
they
it.
would, they did it so they'd be
I gotta
after
change my
the
calendar.
appeals meeting.
Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's the
I
third
came,
week.
I come the wrong day.
Third.
Though, it's still Wednesday for the zoning.
It's locked up at 4 o'clock.
And that's still the second Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can,
And they're
We want
planning
somebody
in
to
the
say
third
third
week.
week.
Yeah, I think so.
Ricky, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
yes.
Mark Manick,
Yes.
Paul Moy.
Yes.
Bernie Ball.
Yes, resolution's carried. The project will be pleased, we gave them another week. The rest are drafts. I don't know if anyone has any particular concerns. I don't know how much time you've had to look at these.
All the junkyards, had approval except one.
I looked them over this afternoon. I believe that they all have.
No, there's one that doesn't. According to our code enforcement officer, it just says he said he inspected it and found it in compliance, okay, that's one thing.
Well,
If he inspected it,
It's not in compliance with what we requested a year ago.
Previous year.
Right.
it says,
I haven't driven down there, but I would guess the photos are recent and,
He's not
Same
really
for-
operating it as a junkyard. I mean, he's operating it as a, it's a place for people to bring refuge. I mean, it's most of what's going in there is coming out of the city and it's sidewalks and stuff like that.
yeah, and that looks.
then maybe he shouldn't apply for a junkyard permit, but as long as he does, he has to.
He's not gonna let go of that
Yes.
junkyard permit. So the point is, we had a promise. I thought we had a promise.
That he's gonna move the tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't gonna move tires, he was gonna plant trees.
No, I thought he was just gonna move the tires and let the vegetation grow in there naturally.
Vegetation was in there.
Was the
Yeah.
theme park?
I thought he was just gonna let that all grow up, but he was gonna move the tires.
We also had a conversation about berm.
Yeah.
That was Gerard's concern, too, did he send you anything?
Yeah. Sent me there.
Today I inspected the licensed junkyard, 271 Ruby Drive, found a new barrier has been constructed. That's the copy of the current photos. So it doesn't say anything about being in compliance or anything like that. So I would have a concern with this particular one. I know it's a bad thing to do, but.
I need to go down and see it, but I kinda like the
Well,
idea of a
I
berm.
went to see it today.
Have a
Now,
look.
honestly, before I came to the meeting, I drove over there and I looked at it from whatever angles I could. Even in the, like, where the leaves are on the trees, from the top of the bridge, if you go past it, now they got the concrete barrier up so far, you can't see it there. When you just go over, you can see, if you really squint or looking hard, you can see it. And as you come up the bridge on the right-hand side, you might be able to see some there. And that's about the only time you can, but it's like, if you're driving a car, it's very brief. If you're walking, it's like about 5 steps, 6 steps. And when the leaves are on the trees, I don't think you're gonna be able to see the tires. However, if we have more development down there, and particularly along Reeves Lane and in there, then it would be in compliance, right?
That's a huge if. I mean, again, acknowledging I haven't seen it, but the idea that we're getting a berm and letting vegetation grow and things will grow in the berm, I like better than anything I've seen yet.
Well, he's got sand on the parkway, then he's got tires on the top, in one section, and then over here, he's just got tires stacked up all the way up.
Looks like a junkyard, huh?
It looks more like a junkyard with what he's got there, than the rest of it looks like a junkyard.
Yeah, I thought
The
he
other
was just
thing is
gonna
the
move
concrete,
tires. I
the
thought he was
concrete
gonna move
looks
some
worse from the
so
road
they couldn't be seen.
than the tires, because you can't see the tires to the trees, but you can see all the concrete stuff that he's piled up way up high, over a little bit further, and that's more open. So, I don't know, the concrete's a junkyard, isn't it? It's not the cars, there's no cars, I couldn't see any cars there.
I don't think he has any, the price of metal's too high.
And when I came up through there, Flanagan's or whatever, in the first one there, their red fence is sort of down like, a slope here and it's up straight here and down here looks almost worse than the other. I'd say if the tires weren't there, you wouldn't even notice there was a junkyard there. But
Well, and you have to go down Reeves Lane,
Yeah.
quite a ways to be able to even see any
You
of
know,
it.
you go down too far, you're gonna find worse things.
yeah, well, the concrete and everything is the worst part, but if the tires weren't there, you wouldn't know it was a junkyard. But again, he's got a junkyard permit, he can bring anything in he wants, any cars or.
Well, until the price of scrap metal bottoms out and it isn't worth sending them to a salvage yard as quick as you get them because the price of metal's so high, he's never gonna have cars back there, cause they're too valuable to crush and send out than to keep them and hang around.
I think that is recognized, there are some better, more valuable uses to that property as well. I don't know what the activation of the sludge plant will do to any of that.
He's also got a venture going in the Syracuse area that seems to be consuming his time. He's not really here very much.
I haven't heard from him in a long time. And I guess we haven't
But,
seen.
if I support the code enforcement officer, it doesn't meet the.
Well, my codes enforcement officer didn't tell me that he was,
He doesn't like to take a
Recommend-
stand on anything on that,
I think you're right on that.
because what happened was every year it changed from whatever the board
it's,
voted.
you're right, it's a tough
So
one.
he's not gonna take a stand, he just, but from my reading of it, if he doesn't give a recommendation like he gave to all the other three, inspected it and finds it needs a compliance, that's not compliant.
Conspicuous by its absence, as they say.
Now, I state this quite strongly, because of Jerry's position
Well, I mean,
as well.
let's be honest with it, then Ed Champagne hasn't been in strict compliance of the zoning in a long time back there, and we've given him a permit every single year.
That's, and he's in more compliance now than
Yeah,
ever.
it's far
as far as
better
I'm
than it
concerned.
was.
Far better, far better, he's going the right direction.
I know what Jerry's gonna say, and I'm pretty sure I bring this point of view up.
When we came on board, that was such a mess in there with the tires and the fires, and oh my gosh. Well, we don't have to discuss how anybody's gonna vote, I don't know if there's any other discussion. I have not seen Jerry's comment, I will look for it tomorrow. I don't have anything else on the regular.
So email comment.
Yeah, I didn't, I've had some different issues with email since I got a new phone. It's gonna be an excuse for a while. I don't have anything else in the regular, if anybody else has any other issues, but I would like to look for, and if you do, let's say them before, I look for a motion to go into an executive session, discuss the work history of a particular individual,
I would like to say particular individuals,
individuals.
yes.
Are we gonna take any action that you know of?
No,
Do we have anything else that we have to cover?
that's why I'm asking if anybody else does, let's cover it now.
Not a question asked.
No, I don't think so, not right now.
Okay, with that said, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Manick, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoyne. And we will move into executive session. I've got 7:45.
7:50. By that one.
Well,
I'm
that
starting with
clock
that one, I
is-
better use that.
that clock is
7:50.
on.